Okay, we had a lot of success. Here's our cribbing pieces that worked as a surface to slide the wall back and forth and front and back. Worked out like a charm. Here's our gappage. We were over there, now we're back here. Open this all up again. We got off of the roof. We were talking, we think these two buildings were in love for a long time, so they just had to sneak in for a little kiss, and now they can go back to being just close. What do they call that? Leave room for Jesus. Anyway, we're going to continue to dial this, but the meat and the potatoes of the move has happened. The big portion of the move has happened. I ended up driving right around the neighbor and coming right back here with the skid steer and using an LVL to protect the surface here. We just pushed on the building like this. We had initially planned on using the come-alongs to power the move, but they just started feeling really tight and pulling very specifically on this spot, even though it was holding up, everything was holding up. I really wanted grand kind of pressure and stuff and less specific point loads and everything. So without being too technical, we just kind of shoved on it with the machine. I didn't come crashing in here. I had the RPMs way down, and we just crept on. You know, we could see one another. I was in the machine there, and he was here, and we just kept closing this gap that was here. We kept closing that up, using the bar to make sure the butt and pass siding on the corner was all closing back in just the way that it should. We had the pool pump off so that I could hear anything and everything that was happening. Don teaches industrial arts and engineering at a neighbor school district, as well as picking up buildings and doing his own. He's bought a few homes and completely, you know, that were falling down and turned them around, did all the handwork himself all the way to a finished house, and then sold it again. So he's a real knowledgeable cat. But it was super important that we triangulated this here before we just had, you know, the potential for this wall to, as we're sliding it, the building over or dragging it out, for it to open away. So when you triangulate that, you reduce that potential. Certainly in the middle of the building, at the ends are normally protected by end walls, but we've got big holes in here, and he said, you know, that's a problem. So good thinking, Don. We got these triangulated out, and we also pinned this beam right up into the joists so that it all traveled with us. You know, our shores are just loose and dangling here. The weight of the building is on the cribbing right now, sitting on the edge of that ski that we built, and so I just used those timber locks, 6 inches. I just did every other one that side, skip one this side, skip one that side, skip one this side, skip one that side, just back and forth. And so the whole thing came along for the ride, and now they're hanging there, you know, plumb because of gravity. I can locate my new location for the cribbing arrangements that need to go underneath them to spread the load out and rebuild those underneath here. And so with that, that's where I'll pick up today. This one kind of got stuck. He's out of plumb here, and he's a little bit jammed up on this, so I'll probably set up 1, 2, 3 arrangements underneath these shores, go up enough here to just sneak this crib. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of gird here, but just enough to sneak him out from underneath and just move him over some so that we can put this cribbing arrangement back underneath this shore. I'll probably leave the weight of the building mostly on the wall and just tighten up the shores to take up some of it as well for the weekend, because it is Friday. But I want to get them all on their own footings again and snug, and then I'll start taking the covering off this wall. The matched lumber start coming down, which is where I was in the middle of the week. I was there in the middle of the week, and it started to rain because they have to be turned out and laid on the ground outside, and I didn't want them to get rained on. So we have some nice weather today. I can get as much off as I get. I can lay on the ground number as a group and then bring back in case there might be rain this weekend, and then I can bug out of here. But for the most part, we didn't use the come-alongs, like I was saying. They just were too specific. We did keep them tight just to keep anything from shifting back, and as an insurance policy and to kind of babysit. And like I say, in the future, I will probably go out at least 3 points, if not 4, to trees and other substantial structure and just tie in with a little bit of slack while I go up and down with the building and move it all around. That way I can kind of leave it for the weekends and you know, overnights and stuff, and sleep easy knowing that it can't really travel anywhere side to side, which like I was saying before, it just adds overhead. But now that I've made the investment, there's no reason not to do that. And overall, structures are pretty plastic. Sometimes when I talk to clients and stuff, or I talk to people that can't visualize the strength and weaknesses that these have. You want to visualize like a cardboard box. You really could kind of build this building as a cardboard box, take the bottom out, take this hole out, take that hole out there, put a piece of cardboard across the middle, put a roof on it, kind of like that, and then feel of it in your hands. There is some deflection and some flexibility, and you can rack it a little bit, but overall you'd have to lay on it with most of your body weight to get it to pancake down flat. And I think movies have made it difficult to understand kinetics and some CG effects and stuff, because I work in special effects too, which is makes an interesting crossover sometimes. But things look unnatural on film when buildings explode into toothpicks, you know, and fall down and shatter like they're made of glass when they're made of wood ostensibly and stuff, because I kind of have a first-hand appreciation for how much strength there is. Even when these things deform, they are quite strong, for lack of a better way to put it. So anyway, we had some nervousness, but overall felt pretty confident here. We executed the situation. You can see we have some shininess. We imparted the wax from this skid onto those as it moved, but finding the stud layout worked out real nice. And I'll probably leave this on until we're on our new posts, actually, because another thing that it did here, if you remember, if you look down, the wall had quite a big bow on it because the back had stayed on the foundation and the front had fallen off over time toward the inside of the building. And with applying that straight LVL, there is still a little bit of a bow, but certainly not anywhere near as much as there used to be. So if anything, he's helping us stay kind of straight. If he starts to resist, if I try to get into the wall and force it out to straight, which was my plan from the get-go, and it starts to resist more than I can move it, then I will take it off, because it'll just be adding strength. And despite the fact that it'll probably cave in more, I'll have the ability to straighten out more easily. So these are all the things that change. You know, we had been talking and using the come-alongs up until we started, and then we just moved to the machine. So you've got the best laid plans, but then, you know, you got to work with what you got when the time comes. And overall, we're very close here. We've got some dialing in to do. I had the ends of these boards on this end wall trimmed plumb, and when they came over and sat tight to the post, I knew the post was kind of plumb. I checked it with the level, but we've got some deflection in that post, and we've still got a little bit of deflection here. This post is sitting that direction a little bit by about 2 inches, maybe 3 on the way up, so we've got some more minor adjustments to do. That could be a factor of being on the ground stationary and tied in with this diagonal. I might be able to let him go, and then all of a sudden you see, the building can relax, you know, because perhaps it really wants to be over there. I certainly installed all these posts plumb and packed the dirt in around them when they were plumb, but you can see the opening behind this one, you know, right there, and others, you know, they've been squidgied kind of around in their hole. And so, but I did check elevations in here, and 1, 2, 3 of these posts, this is all still perfectly level, and this is a bit high. So if we end up manipulating, he was the most pulled out of shape by this collapse. He's the most torqued. He was held at a curve and under a lot of pressure to not be straight anymore for like 2 days. And so we may get all done and then come back and privately address and give him a private invitation to be correct and plumb, and by which I mean redig around and jimmy the bottom of him a little bit. He may need some special treatment, but that will be okay because he's a special boy. So I think that's everything. Now I'm going to get back to work, and thanks for watching. We'll see you.